We are leaving Norman's Key and we're heading out eastbound this morning. These are the little key called Boot Key to the north of us. Another key beyond, and then off in the distance is Exuma Sound. We're heading off into the Exuma Sound. On the other side of Exuma Sound is Cat Island. And today we've decided to head south. Original thought was maybe head east toward Cat, but that the wind's not going to cooperate for that until much later in the day. We actually don't know where we're going to end up today. Still haven't decided. We'll just head west for a while under motor power to charge our batteries, and then turn south, put up the sails, and see how far we get. Okay, provisioning notes. 2 different kinds of jelly in the refrigerator. That was a little bit of a roll there. Okay, so we are heading east. We decided we got out away from Norman's Key, and the wind speed was higher than it was predicted to be. The notion was it would be 10 out of the west for most of the day, and then going north late in the day rather suddenly and increasing to 20 knots. But we're getting 15, a steady, 14 to 18 out of the west. So since it's higher, that means we can maintain a higher boat speed heading directly downwind. So we are heading due east, and we're in mid-5s, high 5 knots of boat speed. All we have up is the Genoa. We have it completely unfurled. There's no mainsail up. You can see the Genoa on the bow there. We do not have a spinnaker, so heading downwind is not the best heading for us. If we had a spinnaker, it would be great. Unfortunately, it's too bulky. We don't carry it because we are cruisers and we have so much other stuff aboard that we can't carry a spinnaker. We did the first year and only pulled it out twice, and just decided the cost benefit wasn't good enough on that. Right now we have just the Genoa up, which is our single large foresail. We do not have a spinnaker. You can see the Genoa there. It's tacked to the bow of the boat, and we are heading dead downwind. The wind is coming from directly behind us, and it's pushing us across Exuma Sound. We'll go about 50 miles today from Norman's to Little San Salvador. How's it going out here, Ruthie?
It's going pretty well. It's a bit rocky, but keeping our course.
Yeah, this is the heading relative to the wind where you're going to get the worst amount of roll on the boat. So we are rolling quite a bit. It's that'd be the motion, back and forth this way. So if you're going to pitch your cookies, this is going to be the tack that you're going to do it on. So fortunately, we both have our sea legs by now, and neither of us has ever really had a problem with seasickness. But this is definitely, knock on wood, this is definitely the heading that you would experience that. We expect the wind to shift about 45 degrees and be from the north shortly in the next few hours. There's going to be a frontal passage. A low front is passing over us, and that's what creates weather and wind in the Bahamas in the winter. About every 5 to 10 days there's a front that comes off the east coast of the United States, and that's why it's so great to sail in the Bahamas in the winter, because you almost always have some wind, and then there's periods of calm once a week or so for a day or two to enjoy snorkeling and other activities. Okay, this is rather typical of prefrontal conditions. I'm looking south and there's a squall. You can see the dark area on the horizon, that's rain, and then the cloud formation above it. It's a little localized weather pattern, and typically squalls will precede a frontal passage. If we look off to the north, we can see a cloud line, and that is likely the front. So once that crosses us, we should have north winds. The north. Right now we're already getting northwest, which is a better wind for us. Boat speed's picked up to the 6.5 to 7 range now, so that's just because we're on a better heading. The wind speed has not picked up that much, but the wind is a little bit less directly behind us. It's kind of off the port quarter now, which would be about 45 degrees off the stern on the port side. So we're enjoying the sail. Okay, Ruthie, what's that black cloud behind you there?
Oh, it's a squall.
I think it's arriving, and the wind is dying down right in front of the front, and then it'll fill in rapidly from the north, probably up to 20. So what we're going to do is use this moment to turn into the wind and put our mainsail up and prepare for the wind to be more off the beam. Here we go. Okay, so we came through that little squall that appeared on the horizon. It was just a small squall, a little bit of disturbance right in front of the front, and it rained briefly for 5 minutes. We got the mainsail up, we got one reef in, and the jib is partially reefed. And we are sailing 7.5 knots of boat speed, and the wind is out of the north at 12 to 15 right now. We expect it to increase some, but we'll see. Great sailing. Okay, we're a little bit over halfway on the trip, and you can see the results of the squall. Get some raindrops on our Dodger windows panels here, and there is a cruise ship off the port side that is on the coast of Eleuthera. You can see Eleuthera there in the distance. And we will be passing close to the southern tip of Eleuthera on our way to our destination. Okay, today we left Norman's Key and we went due east, and right now we are just off the southern tip of the island of Eleuthera, heading for Little San Salvador and Half Moon Bay. I'm going to zoom out here. Here's the Exumas and Eleuthera, and the area of North Eleuthera where we started our time in the Bahamas is up here. Hey, they're having fun?
Yeah.
Good.
New technique.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's 2:45 p.m. and we're making a close pass off the tip of Eleuthera here. We're 1.5 miles, 1.6 miles south of the Eleuthera Point. And I'm going to go outside and show that in reality. There it is. It's looking a little dark up there to the north. Okay, it's about shortly after 3 p.m. and the wind has picked up and moved forward. So we're doing a better boat speed here, 7 touching 8 now and then. And the front is here. I think that first bit that we saw at 1:30 p.m. is what is referred to as spillover. It wasn't the actual front itself. Out ahead of us, it's still quite dark, but I suspect by the time we hit our destination, this will have passed and we'll be back in sunny weather north of the front. What do you think, Ricky?
I'm good.
Yay! Okay, 3 miles away from Little San Salvador, and the wind has filled in behind the front. We're getting 20 off the port side. Boat speed's 7.5 to 8, and the island is right there. It's going to be noisy, but let's take a look. Picking up an ocean swell as well, because we're out from behind the protection of Eleuthera, open to the Atlantic, and we're very close to our destination now. Okay, it's Saturday morning at Little San Salvador. This island is owned by a cruise ship line, which is not uncommon in the Bahamas, and we have the Nordum, which is a Holland America cruise ship, arriving at Half Moon Bay on Little San Salvador, the island that they own. So this cruise ship will be pulling in fairly close here, disgorging a couple thousand, 3,000 people, I don't know, a lot. And they will have a day of playing on the beach and fun in the sun on Little San Salvador. So we're leaving. Okay, for our passage today from Little San Salvador to Cat, I've decided to tie in another reef. So I'm doing that. I'm going to put in the second reef. The wind conditions today were probably right between one reef and two reefs. The logic on tying more reefs than less is that it's much easier to shake out a reef than it is to put one in underway. When you're going from a one reef condition to two reef conditions, it's a lot more boisterous. The wind has gotten stronger, so therefore the deck is going to be wetter and bouncier, and just everything's going to be more difficult to do. When you're going from 2 down to 1, obviously conditions have slackened and the deck has become easier to navigate and everything's less wet and less difficult. Okay, we're at the Holland America Happy Land here in the Bahamas, a simulated Bahamian environment with a pirate ship on land, of course. Little cabanas, probably some simulated Bahamian calypso music, and there's the simulated Nordum. And it's got all its little boats going to and fro, and there's another one coming in. It's a busy day at Half Moon Bay. Yesterday we sailed from Norman's Key to Little San Salvador. That's about a 50-mile run. Started out downwind, then the wind went to the north and filled in, and we ended the trip with 20-knot winds out of the north and sailed through a front. So we are now heading southeast from Little San Salvador. There's our boat, and our intention is to go to Cat Island today. Cat Island is one of the larger islands in the Bahamas. You can see it's off to the east of us here. It starts up here, goes way south, and we are heading to the south end, into this bight here, to explore a location called the Hermitage and to visit a little more remote out island that is less traveled by yachtsmen and other visitors.
This is fabulous sailing weather.
Isn't it though? And we have wind off the beam at about 15 knots, and we're just cruising along. It's going to be a fabulous sail. Should be pretty brief. We're going about 35 miles, and it should take us no more than a few hours. We'll arrive at the anchorage by 2:30 p.m. and be able to launch the dinghy, go ashore, and have a little fun. It's been a couple of days since we've been off the boat, so I think we're both ready for it. It's like Cat Island Primary School Junkanoo. They start them early. Yeah, I'll take a picture if you want. You want your picture taken? Okay. Smile. All right, can you introduce us to your brother?
This is my brother. His name is Tiano.
Hi, Tiano. What's your sister's name?
Tania.
Tania. Hi, Tania. So we made a little movie.
And they welcomed us to shore when we came up on our dinghy. They came running up and said, "Welcome to Cat Island."
So we're gonna walk up on the beach again.
Okay, nice meeting you guys. See you around. Leftover Junkanoo. Here you go, Ruthie. You gotta try this headdress on. Okay, here's Ruth trying out for Junkanoo. Do your best Bahamian dance. Excellent. Okay, so Ruth wants to be a butterfly. Turn around so I can see the pretty wings. Oh, there we go. Flying away. Oh, you guys look like you might be food or milk or something. You're not. You got horns. Yeah, you're a good goat, aren't you? Yep, what about this little one over here? Okay, so they claim to have regatta here in August, and I guess they build their own boats. They've laid a keel. Boy, Cat Island sure has a different feel than the other lands we've been on, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
This long road with the trees along the waterfront. And it just kind of goes on that way. Back to the area where they have little conch stands and stuff. This is New Bight. Low population and lots of land. It's about 40 miles long. And the island actually has the notoriety of having the highest altitude point in the Bahamas. Mount Alvernia and the Hermitage. Father Jerome's dream come true. This is the entrance to the path that leads up the hill to Father Jerome's Hermitage. It was intended to be his place of retirement. He was a Catholic priest in the Bahamas who built a lot of churches up and down the Bahamas, also an architect. And this was his final crown jewel. He built this as a place to retreat to at the end of his life. Alright, and I think we're coming up to the fork in the path here. Don't know how many of you have read Pilgrim's Progress, but there is an easy way, a broad road that takes you up and around a less difficult path, and then to the right here into the woods is the more difficult path, and constructed along the way are the Stations of the Cross, little shrines commemorating each of the Stations of the Cross. And it is not the broad road that leads to destruction, that's for sure. It is the narrow road. It is difficult, rocky, and probably about 40 degrees. So it is a hobbit-size place. There's a chapel and a belfry, and then there's a living area and office with an oven stove, and then there's an outdoor shower area. A little open colonnade leads to the sleeping quarters. Signore per hearth for fire, for cooking, heating water, I guess, and then just outside the door is the privy. Little drain at the bottom, place to sit, place to hang a bucket. A colonnade goes down to the sleeping quarters, and this goes up to the chapel. This must be the office. Yep. Here's the chapel. And it is a single-seater. It's a little place to sit, place to perch your book, a little window to look out of there.
This is where I had my enlightening experience last time we were here, just sitting right there, meditating. I would highly recommend it.
Colonnade leading to the sleeping quarters. Which is wooden and very simple. At the southeastern tip of Cat Island. We have a 7-mile long beach with reefs just a few yards offshore. Okay, this is a Bahamian field for farming. You can see the squash, tomatoes, greens. There's a nice squash. Looks like corn at one point. Not real organized, but wherever there's a little patch of soil on Cat Island, we find farmers. It's definitely a farming community. You're just such a beautiful woman.
Thank you. Making fun of an old lady.
No, I am not making fun. I think you are beautiful. Oh my goodness.
Are you sure you want to give us all that?
That's too much.
I got plenty in the field. Each one.
Okay, plenty in the field. Oh, thank you so much.
wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so kind.
Oh, thank
beautiful
you.
tomatoes.
Wanting tomatoes.
Thank you. You're so
This is great.
so gracious.
Y'all should have met me to the field.
Oh, bless
Thank
you.
Mary.
Can we pay you for those?
No, that's okay. When you all meet me in the field, I'll go buy some.
Pierce, what's the definition of cruising?
Working on your boat in exotic locations. But we had a failure on the foredeck hatch here, which is kind of weird. The caulk didn't fail, but the paint is separating from the metal here. And it looks like the water entry is underneath the paint. So it actually made its way into the boat between the paint and the frame. So I'm gonna scrape this paint off and clean it all up and recaulk. So it should fix it. This is a waterspout.
See it.
Right there.
Is it coming to us?
It's going somewhere.
Well, what are we going to do if it gets us?
Duck. It'll dissipate before it does anything. It's a really small localized tornado is what it is. There's we're about to get hit with some major wind, I'll bet. Not necessarily from the spout. So there's the waterspout, and we just noticed this tail in the clouds. Right now we're west of it, so the winds are from the north, because the winds are rotating counterclockwise around it. That's what happens in the northern hemisphere.
We're setting anchor.